So as some of you might know, I was really looking forward to Mercenaries before the release of the game. I did an insane amount of research. I watched everything on it, and I kind of did a couple tier lists just talking to myself on what Mercenaries I thought were going to be really good. And some of them I predicted very well. I thought Rarran was going to be very strong. I thought Vorden was going to be insane. But some of the Mercenaries I've been seeing and I've been using recently have been very, very strong. So I thought it'd be fun to do a video on the Mercenaries I can't believe are that good. And if you have a Mercenary that I did not showcase in this video that you think is just insane and insanely underrated, leave me a comment. Maybe I'll try them out and try to do a pretty fun build with. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, make sure you subscribe and like the video. And as always, you look fantastic. Starting off at number 1 is the Lich King. Now, I did not think the Lich King was going to be as good as he was because I looked at his abilities and I was like, even though this is not max, it goes to 1 cooldown. And I was like, why would I want a protector that can't even taunt turn 1? Carriel does that already. The Death Coil felt just so misplaced, especially because it had a cooldown. It is kind of a utility card because you can heal something and maybe that's good enough. But again, I didn't know it was going to be that good. And looking at this ability, I just thought it was going to be so weak just because of the fact that it just only slowed down 1 ability. I was like, why does that even matter? Until I realized quite recently that if you pair Frostbite with Frostmourne, it actually affects the neighbors as well. And quite literally, I'm guaranteeing a lot of you are seeing Samaro and Xyrella, and you might have been surprised that if you actually go Frostbite and Frostmourne and they use their signature Blinding Luminance until the double strike attack, you could kind of ruin that whole combo because it'll be so much slower for the rest of the game that Xyrella doesn't really even matter anymore. And then on top of that, it just makes their turn so much more awkward because it doesn't matter what hero you're going against, most of the time they're going to be using their best ability they can every single turn. So against Malfurion, you could just slow them down and then you can follow it up with a Death Coil and it makes your turns so much better. If you're planning on actually leveling up Lich King, which I would highly recommend you do, definitely level up Frostbite and try to get his task 7 for Frostmourne so you can actually just use this combo. It is so freaking strong. Let me know what you think of Lich King. We'll go to the next mercenary I couldn't believe is super strong is Vorden Dawngrasp. Now, I didn't think they would be that good because looking at their abilities, it didn't seem that there was anything that great here. Like Ice Lance is fine because of the fact that you can actually just freeze a mercenary and it's a decently fast ability. But for the main thing, I don't know, like it was so slow. 2 cooldown is Cold Snap again, like the Death Blow is never going to get procced majority of the time. Death Blow effects are generally not that great. I think most of the time, like you're never going to get the Death Blow anyways, but maybe dealing 8 damage as an AoE is fine. But their best ability by far happens to be Flurry. And I definitely misjudged how frustrating and how good it is to consistently slow them down every single turn by 2 speed. And you may not think 2 speed is a really big deal, but when you do it consistently over and over and over again, it becomes to the point where you're just so much faster, you get initiative. And a great way of describing why that's good is that imagine there's 2 swords and your sword is longer and you hit first. That's basically what Vorden does currently. Now, I will also say that the equipment that Vorden is offered is pretty decent. You could go for Potion of Ice, which I don't think is inherently bad, but definitely their level 30 equipment here, which I believe is true, right? Yeah, Chilling Amulet 4 is just insane. Not only does this give you another AoE, which is virtually Cold Snap in an ability, but you freeze a random enemy until the end of the next turn, which basically means not only did you just do an AoE ability, but you basically stopped a mercenary from being relevant for the next turn, which can be insane. Vorden definitely has showcased to be one of the better mercenaries, and I can't believe I didn't think they were good, but now I'm surprised. Master Samaro was actually a mercenary that I did not think was going to be as good as they actually were. I think I was just kind of guessing how the power level of each merc would be in a vacuum, which means like no synergy. But it turns out when you're given Xyrella and Samaro, Blade Master Samaro virtually has one of the best kits in the game, and you don't really even need Xyrella for Samaro to be good, but it definitely makes his double strike just that much better because of the fact that you can attack twice. And if it's against the caster, I think the only caster that can live is Gul'dan. I could be wrong about that, but it almost guarantees a kill on almost every single caster, unless there is a Xyrella on the enemy team, which is just insane. But speaking of just his abilities, Mirror Image is fantastic. And when you finally get the task 7 equipment to summon 2 copies of that mirror entity, oh my God, it could be so freaking powerful because you're just arguably sending like 20 damage twice, and you're not even taking damage as Blaze Master Samaro. And then Whirling Blade is one of the best abilities I've seen if you can get it off. A lot of people, when they see Samaro, want to target him, and you know, he's probably going to live turn 1. If you pair this up with Vorden, perhaps, Whirling Blade often gets off very quickly, and then next thing you know, it's impossible to kill him. Also, his equipment is very good. There's not a single bad equipment here. You can make the case that Homeblade is a little under, I don't know, powered in terms of the other ones, but that's just perspective, right? Burning Blade is absolutely nuts because he does end up getting an insane amount of stats when he attacks twice. And then obviously I've already talked about the Sash of Illusion, why it's so strong. I highly recommend playing Samaro if you're looking to get some good PvP MMR, because he is definitely so great at just one-shotting someone, and that could just blow away their entire composition. Next on the list is Prophet Velen. Now, in a vacuum, just like kind of Samaro, Velen isn't that great. He definitely needs to be with a holy comp in order for Velen to be good. But quite recently, I have been testing a lot of stuff with him, and I've noticed that Velen's Blessing is an extremely strong ability when you want to set up a holy combo. One of the more prominent ones I've been doing quite a bit for farming in PvE is using Velen's Blessing plus Anduin's Holy Nova, which is a double AoE plus the 3 holy damage, which is absolutely bonkers. You can run through PvE super fast and get some early levels and coins, but in PvP as well, he does an extremely good job of just healing up your whole team and doing damage with Anduin. And Splitting Blade also means that they could do a lot of more AoE with another holy spell. So if you don't have the time to proc Velen's Blessing, you need to kill someone, Penance from Anduin and Splitting Lights can be very strong. His first ability, I'm not 100% sure if it's good or not, but you do restore a decent amount of life, especially when you start upgrading Tome of Inspiration. And his equipment is very versatile. If you need more damage on your team with Velen, Blessed Shard can be extremely strong. If you need just general AoE and you think they're going to, or AoE healing for your team, and you think that they're going to target Velen, Potion of Light is really good because they don't want to focus, kind of the same way it works for Vorden. You don't really want to focus the mercenary with Death Rattle, but sometimes you're just going to have to, because it does actually require you to kill him if you don't want to just die to a holy combo. There's also the holy combo with Uther, which I didn't really think about either. It just sets up a lot of holy combos, and I think Velen is one that really flew under the radar for me. Last on this list is Lady Anaconda. Now, I didn't expect Lady Anaconda to be so good in any composition, but it turns out in a nature composition, she is very good at dealing with casters. Now, the one issue that nature compositions seem to have is that there's no good fighters for their composition. Like if you go look at the fighters right now, right? Who do you want? Samaro doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Maybe you could fit in King Crush. I don't know. It didn't really seem like there was a lot of good options until you look at Anaconda, who fits so well with Malfurion or Guff, because not only does she set up other nature abilities, but she is perfect against casters because you need a fighter in that composition. Serpent's Bite against a caster when it's fully maxed with her equipment switch is what you should probably upgrade. I think I played a bunch of Lady Anaconda games and I have not used this ability once. There's been a couple cases where the heal did matter, but she's basically Xyrella for nature compositions in a sense, just to kill casters. It does 40 damage on its own, going through taunts at a 5 speed. Sure, it's delayed, but if you pair it with like Brukan, it could do an insane amount more damage. I don't know. I was blown away by how good Lady Anaconda fits into a nature composition. She seems to round out the comp very, very well. I was blown away. Let me know what you think are the mercenaries that blew you away. And of course, if you want to see the opposite mercenaries that I thought were going to be good, but are actually hot garbage, then I could do a video for that as well. Let me know. I'll see you in the next one.